Thank you all so much for being here today for this very important news conference. Detective Michael Wiley from BSO's Traffic Homicide Unit is going to speak first, and then we will have some comments from one of Clifford Jackson's sons. Detective?
Thank you, sir. Good morning, all. My name is Detective Michael Wiley, W-I-L-E-Y. I'm with the Sheriff's Office Traffic Homicide Investigations Unit. We're here today to ask the public for assistance in locating a hit-and-run vehicle that was involved in an eventual fatal crash that occurred on the 11th of last month. Traffic Homicide Unit was dispatched to the crash scene at the request of Deerfield Beach deputies. Upon arrival and beginning our investigation, while searching through the debris field on scene, we were able to locate some debris that did not belong to the motorcycle. We were able to take that debris, and with the assistance of Rick Case Hyundai, not too far from here, they were able to assist us in identifying the vehicle as a 2016 to 2019 Hyundai Elantra. Also, we were able to locate a paint chip at the crash scene which identified the car as silver in color. Once we were able to identify the make, model, and years of that vehicle, with the assistance of Crime Stoppers, we released a flyer. We did receive a couple of tips. Those tips were investigated. However, the vehicles that we were notified about were not the suspect vehicles. So if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Actually, that is something we do very much on a regular basis. Keep in mind, these days, cars are made out of a lot of plastic. On these plastic pieces, if you take a look at them and give me a second, on a lot of this debris that we find on the crash scene, there are identification numbers printed right on the part. And on one of the pieces, it even says Hyundai right on the part. So that kind of helps us. It narrows it down. Now, personally, I'm not an expert in Hyundai vehicles, but the people over at Rick Case, they are. And they were very willing and happy to assist the Broward Sheriff's Office. We're just trying to narrow down what we're looking for. It's a lot easier to come here and say, please help us. We're looking for a silver Hyundai. It's going to have damage to the passenger side based upon the dynamics of the crash. We know the motorcycle was traveling westbound on Southwest 10th Street. We know the Hyundai was originally traveling eastbound, and basically they met each other within that intersection. We have two very credible witnesses that positively stated traffic on Dixie Highway had red lights, so traffic was flowing smoothly on Southwest 10th Street. Unfortunately, the driver of this Hyundai, for reasons unknown at this time, just did not observe the motorcycle coming through. Now, what we do know, we know excessive speed wasn't involved. We were able to identify the area of collision and where the motorcycle came to final rest and do speed calculations using that evidence and that information. So the question is now is, why, didn't that person stay? Why didn't, all they had to do was just stop, and pick up the telephone. Obviously this was an accident, and we understand that. But we still have questions, and there's only one person out there who can answer those questions for us, and this family deserves those answers.
It was very unfortunate that this happened, that we had to say goodbye in such a tragic way. My father was a great man. He took care of my brothers and sisters that were not his as if they were his. So we're deeply saddened by this. This is very sudden. My heart has a hole in it. The only thing that I ask is, if you know anything, any information, please step up. He was a veteran. He's a father, grandfather, soon to be great-grandfather, brother, friend, and more importantly, a human being. So him being hit in that intersection and left, whoever decided to do that and take off, just leaving him there in the intersection is sickening. Words can't express, how I feel right now. He, in the military is where he found his love for engines, fixing engines, cars, motorcycles. So this was his passion. Look twice for motorcycles, because I don't want another family to have to go through what we've gone through. There's been so many tears shed, and up from him being hit to us being bedside in his hospital, ultimately having to let him go. I actually, by the time I had Cam, he had, apparently in the beginning, because I was out of the country, in the beginning he was responsive, he was opening his eyes, he was mouthing "I love you" and "I'm sorry" and stuff like that. But unfortunately, by the time I got here, he had slipped and had to be resuscitated. He had a very severe spine injury, so that resuscitation, the pressure on his chest and stuff made things worse. Unfortunately, he never opened his eyes. When I was there, I got to hold his hand, touch his head, but he was connected to tubes, not breathing on his own. So I unfortunately didn't get to say goodbye to my father. Yeah, I do. I've forgiven you. I can't live with that burden. I don't know what happened, or, maybe you got scared. The only thing I can ask is, relieve yourself of this burden. This is now, he's passed. This is now a homicide. This is not a game. As a family, we're all asking for closure. All of us. He leaves behind 6 kids. He leaves behind a girlfriend of 18 years, but should be common law marriage. Grandkids, and like I said, in September, he was going to be a great-grandfather. So that's the only thing I ask is, find it within your heart, find it within yourself to step forward and say something. And if you know of something, at this point, you're harboring someone that unwillingly, it was an accident, but it was a homicide. So that's the only thing that we ask. We want closure.
Was your dad from South Florida originally, or moved here before else?
No, he's actually born in California. We moved to South Florida when I was 3. We lived most of our life down here. I'm about to turn 35, mostly in the area of where the crash happened, Pompano Beach, Deerfield Beach. I've gone to school down here. I know a lot of people out here, worked out here. So I unfortunately, have had to log into his computer, his phone, and I actually did go through his Google Maps and saw everything that he did that day. He went a lot of places that day, everywhere, because he worked for the fire station, or not for the fire station, but he repaired fire station equipment, compressors and things like that. So I do know when he was leaving, he was just taking a ride. Like the detective said, there was no speed involved. He just liked to ride. This was something that freed his mind. We all have that passion. That was his passion. And he was, one of the things that really, really hurt me was that he was literally less than 2 minutes from his house when this happened, because he lives right around the corner from where it happened. So I believe he was just going to take a ride at the time.